Welcome back to JDM Legends, presented by Turn 14 Distribution, where today we do something about this whole situation. Time to do some seat covers because we want the whole interior to look good, and for that we have again turned to Interior Innovations, same place we got the shift knob from, and this is the rear seat cover, which is actually very affordable. It was like $275 with synthetic leather, or a little over $300 if you want real leather.
And we did get the suede. I think it's a Nova Suede Op insert, which I think is another $100 if you choose it too.
Oh, nice. So. Yeah, it is nice actually. It's sort of like a micro suede or whatever that's called. And you can see that this seat cover, original one, is seen better days. This lower seat cushion isn't in terrible shape, but it's got these weird, like, I don't know if that's paint or what that is on there, but that might come out, it might not. But the rear seat, as you'll see, is in really bad shape. So that's really why we're recovering it. Just so it all matches. And I mean, this is old too. This would probably split if I sat in it. But in any case, I gotta take this cover off before I put the new one on, which means getting out some pliers and prying out all these little brass hooks. I don't know what these are. These are called like bull rings or something. I forget what
something like that.
Something like that.
It's kind of used in interior everywhere.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. So let's just start pulling these out, get the cover off, and then we'll see about putting the new one on. Usually you can kind of bend them a little. See that? And then you can rotate it. Oh, there we go. So now you can see the cover is free. There's a little bar that runs through here that will pull out, but I can get the center here. You can see the cover is free from that hook now. So I'll just go ahead and unhook all the other ones, and that's a good start. All right, I think that might be it. Look at that, we are free. One nasty old cover, and wow, there was a lot of those hog rings, not bull rings, hog rings holding that cover on. And I don't really know what the right technique is. We're not upholstery guys, but it seemed like side cutters actually work the best to get like a good grip on them and rotate them out. Fairly destructive though, but I mean, they're mostly kind of rusty and rotten now anyway.
Yeah, it's not like we're gonna be reusing them.
No, and unfortunately we did not order new ones when we ordered the covers. There is a way you can use zip ties for a lot of this stuff though. We had to look online and found a tutorial where, you know, a lot of the metal bars that you run through those seat edges, you can zip tie on, and rather than hog ring.
DP though, look at this. Is this a sign of quality? Like, what is that?
That little symbol there?
Yeah.
I know, what is that?
JDM symbol?
That's like something out
telling
of...
us it's a little trademark or something?
It's a Pokemon symbol? I don't know what that is. I'm pretty sure that means GTR Destroyer. That's what that symbol means right there. And it also says pure on here, because the Supra is the most pure of all JDM Legends. So, I mean, as we already have established, I am already winning, but man, I'm not looking forward to doing this. It's kind of tempting in hindsight to maybe take this to an upholstery guy and say, can you do this? But we're learning something here, so at least there's that. Next step is to swap over all of these bars that are in the backside of the OE seat cover and put them in the new seat cover. So you can see that guy came out of there, which is this guy here. And we've got to do this about, oh, I don't know, 30 times. So we're gonna just do them one at a time, because if you pulled them all out, it'd be pretty easy to not get them back in where they came from.
Yeah, so, knowing our memories.
Yeah, exactly. So, well, there you go. The cover actually fits remarkably well, even though it's not hog ringed down fully, but you can see once it's taut and tightened down, it's gonna look really good. So, wish we could show you the finished product of that today. Not gonna happen, but let's move on to the seat back cushion. And here's really why we decided to do the recovering at all. This seat back cushion is badly damaged from sun exposure. 27-year-old car, and it's faded and cracked and dried out and generally looks pretty horrible. So we'll pull this cover off and see how well the other one fits up, and if it's something we'll be able to make fit without hog rings and hog ring tools. And there's your seat back cushion, more or less fitted up. This one's quite a bit simpler than the bottom cushion, but there's still some hog rings that have to go down the middle, sort of in this area, and all around the sides. So I don't think we're gonna try to fake it. Let's just throw it in the car for visuals and move on to the front seats, which require no recovering because they're brand spanking new. This, my friends, is what we call leveling up in a big way because, frankly, the stock seats in the Supra are not very comfortable and certainly not very supportive. And compared to the GTR seats, which are really very nice, I thought, you know what? The Supra deserves to be on that level. So to do that, we have turned to Recaro, which you've seen us use in just about all of our other series builds. As a matter of fact, you saw these exact seats go into Pete's 2JZ M3, E46 M3. These are Recaro Sportster GTs. The GT is like an updated version of the CS. This is a Sportster CS. As you can see, it's got like the full leather wrap on it, where this actually has a fire retardant material, a cloth material on it, which is gonna be a lot more grippy. So if you're the kind of person who's like, oh, I don't want leather, I slide around a lot on leather on the racetrack, then the GT with this fabric is the way to go. I think otherwise they're very much the same, if not identical, in terms of the construction of the polymer shell. You can see they both have like this really nice low profile mount bracket built into the bottom of them, so they'll sit really low in the car, and they integrate really well with factory seat rails in most cases, so it makes the installation quite easy. And the beauty of them really is that they're much more supportive than the standard seat in something like a Supra. You've got much better thigh support, back support, shoulder support. You've got these nice pass-throughs, so if you want to run a harness system, you can do that very safely. Got a nice big headrest here, which again, in an accident or in a racing environment is a really good thing to have. Got this nicely integrated release on the back here so that the seat folds forward and back. So it's just very well thought out. It even has this little dial here on the side, which gives you very precise adjustment. Recaro calls it millimeter precise, and I think they're not exaggerating. You can see how nicely I can dial that in. So it's a seat that we know from having used previously are extremely comfortable. They're also very lightweight. I haven't weighed them, but I can guarantee you they are going to be lighter than the factory seats. So the question is, which is going to look better in the Supra? Do we go with the fabric look, which might sort of tie in with the center sections on those new back seat covers? Or do we go with the leather look, which would tie in with like the outer areas on those back seats? And frankly, might match the dash better too, because if you look at the texture on this, it's really very similar to the texture on the dash in the Supra. So although initially I was thinking the GTs were the way to go for the fabric, I don't know, I'm kind of thinking that the leather might look better in there, Pete. So maybe what we need to do is throw one of each in there and have a look at them in the car and decide which we like the look of best. We're just fitting up the Recaro sliders here, and man, it fits on here so nice. You can see they just like tuck into this area.
Yeah, it's remarkable.
It's gonna sit really low in the car, and worth noting too that it's wired for heat. So if you had the option of heated seats in your car, you could integrate this really easily. Well, we got both seats in here, and I don't know, I'm kind of torn, PT, about which one I like the look of better, the fabric or the leather. I think the leather does match the steering wheel nicely and the dash texture well, like I mentioned before, but the cloth has a really nice sort of rich look in it that sort of breaks up the overall like textures in here. So I don't know, I'm kind of torn. Do you have a preference?
I don't know, I same thing. I kind of like the cloth from like the sportiness aspect of it,
yeah.
But the leather one is like a Grand Tourer, I think would be the better play, but I don't know, man.
Yeah.
It's a tough one.
Well, you guys let us know in the comment section which style or, which wrap you prefer, which cover you prefer, and who knows where we'll go on the decision on this, but we have a bigger problem, and that is that the seats are too high. I don't know if you can tell that well, but I do not have a lot of room in here. I could not wear a helmet in here without being like this, which I've done before in the name of speed, but would prefer not to do. So we've been looking at different ways to mount these. The planted rails that we're using were really designed for like a fixed back racing bucket to be bolted directly to it. And it would work well in that scenario, but when you put sliders in and reclining sports seats like this, you lose a bunch of headroom with their brackets. So We've looked at like modifying their brackets or maybe going to a different style slider with integrated brackets on it. So we're gonna do a little homework on it the next night or two and decide what we wanna do, because we really need to get at least the driver's seat down low. I don't think the passenger seat's as critical, but I'd like to be in a better seating position than I am now. But I will say I love the steering wheel, this personal wheel. I really like the size, the shape, the feel of, and unlike Pete's steering wheel in the GTR, this personal wheel, not this exact one, but personal wheels in general, were used in about every winning Formula One car in the 80s and 90s, including Canadian Formula One champion Jacques Villeneuve in 1997, and a little guy named Ayrton Senna from Brazil. He won a few championships too with a personal wheel in his car. So I love the motorsports heritage of that, and I do really like this shift knob. It's just got the right weight and feel and size to it. And obviously it looks OE, which I quite like in this car. So, all right, we've got the key in the on position now so that we can show you how our Toyota S8 Ultra head unit is working. And just like I have in the Lexus, it works remarkably well. I've got CarPlay fired up here now, so I've got access to all of my Apple apps because I have an iPhone 12. So, I mean, you can see I've got, you know, maps, phone, messages, probably something from my wife telling me that bad things are happening at home. And I can go back out here and, you know, you can scroll through your different pages of apps. I've got Amazon Music on here. I've got WhatsApp for my clandestine texting with my friends about car parts. And as I found in the Lexus, it just works. It's been absolutely reliable. It never has any problems connecting with my phone. It never, you know, wants to reboot itself or hangs on anything the way I've experienced with other Android head units. So for me, so far, the Toyota S8 Ultra has been a real winner. And this BTI gauge, I really dig too. It's integrated beautifully into the dash here. And as we described earlier, it does plug directly into our Link ECU. So we'll be able to pull up all kinds of useful data on here. Right now we've got boost on display, but I'm assuming with these buttons, BT, we can set like warning lights. We can scroll through different...
We still do need to plug into the Link. There's just a quick config file that we have to load up for it, so the CAN system recognizes it.
Right.
So it's right now it's not reading anything, but man, it's amazing.
It's
I love
very
it.
cool. We'll show you it working when we're at the dyno and kind of scroll through that a little bit for you. But all in all, really big upgrades in terms of you know, technology, access to data off of the Link. It's really looking very nice in here. So I think really the last big hurdle we have left is to try to get these seats lower, or at least the driver's seat lower, so that I'm in a better driving position so I can wear a helmet in here and not be going down the front straight like this. Thinking a little further about the whole headroom issue that we have, this is our planted seat rail here, and this is really where I think our problem stems from. The way they've designed this, they've got it off the floor by quite a distance here. I think we just have a quick peek at it. It's about, call that like 1.25 inches of clearance that they've built into this. And again, they did design these for bucket seats. So when you're mounting a bucket seat on here with side mounts, it's going to sit low enough. But with a reclining sports seat like this, we really need to get it as low as we possibly can. And we thought about like actually cutting this, re-welding this tab on down lower or something, but Pete actually reached out on social media, and was it a guy by the name of Peter Kopp, was it?
Yes, yeah.
Mentioned that Titan Motorsports makes a bracket like this, which has these tabs basically almost flat. So we'll get that 1.25 inches back with those Titan brackets. So we've gone ahead and ordered a couple of those, and I think it's going to buy us the headroom that we need. So here you've got our rear seats back in place and looking much better than the old ones. Obviously they're not fitted up fully tightly, so they don't look quite right, but it gives you an idea visually how they're gonna look in the car. And I really like them, although I am a little bit torn about our choice to go with this, what's it called, Nuvo suede?
Nova suede.
Nova suede. It's got a slightly different color to it, like it's almost got like a hint of blue in it. With our black fabric or black leather front seats, I'm not sure how well it's going to match, but in any case, it's still a huge upgrade to have nice new seat covers in here, and it's going to look really good once they're properly fitted in, and you know, we can sort out the details. But I do kind of maybe wish we had just done them in full leather. Let us know in the comments what you guys think. Was the suede middle sections a bad call, a good call? Does it add visual interest, or is it just maybe going to clash a little bit with the other choices that we made in here? So anyway, it's still an upgrade, it's still a win. I really like the quality and the look of them. I'm just not sure if we made the right call on the full leather versus adding in the suede. Well, that is a wrap on this one, guys. Sorry we don't have a final install for you on those front seats. But we're waiting on those hog rings to come in so that we can finish wrapping the rears. Do you guys even want to watch us do that? We're still kind of humming hawing about whether we do that job ourselves or farm it out to somebody. We did buy hog rings and the tool to do it, but not sure if we can do it well enough, if we're gonna ruin things. So let us know in the comment section if you'd like to see us struggle with a job like that we've never done before, or if we're smarter just to farm it out, because it might put you to sleep watching us do a job like upholstery. And obviously in the next episode, we will also have those Titan seat brackets, and we'll get the seats in there, and we'll have to make the final decision of fabric versus leather covers on those. I think I'm leaning towards the fabric now, PT. I really like the look of them. And I like the fact that I won't be sliding around on them, but maybe once we get the seat covers on the rear finalized, I'll change my mind. So you'll find out in the next episode. And by the way, everyone, please do be patient with us for the next couple of weeks, because Pete is about to become a papa for the second time. His son is going to be here any minute now, and we'll probably have some delays in our production as a result of that. So we may not have Wednesday uploads. We're still going to try to get our weekly or our 2 videos out a week, but we may go down to 1 video a week for a couple of weeks while Pete and his wife are adapting to having a new member of their family.
Which is just so easy, right?
It is. It's not easy,
no big
man.
deal.
My
No
God,
big deal.
I do not envy you. I remember those first couple of weeks. You do not sleep a lot. It's rough. So, but I will give you a premature congratulations on becoming a daddy again. Hit him up in the comment section, everybody. Say congrats to Pete for being a dad of a son for the first time. So that's exciting. New car guy coming at you, and you may see him here on Speed Academy in 2026, we'll say, somewhere around there. So stay tuned for that too. And thanks again for watching, everyone. And if you want to help Pete buy some diapers, do check us out on Patreon. And you can throw a couple bucks at us there, and I'll make sure that if you make a note there that these are diaper dollars, I'll make sure that those get fed that way.
I'm really pumped on how well that turned out. I think it turned out better than I could have imagined.
Yeah, in the previous episode, we kind of showed it in here without being like buttoned down, and it looked bad.
It looked all baggy and nasty,
Yeah.
but now that it's installed, it looks really good. And